With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. I'm your host, David Butler. Whew! We can all exhale after that series with the White Sox. And really, the whole week. We went 3-3 in a week that I expected, at the worst, the Cubs would go 4-2. But had dreams of them being 6-0 against frankly teams that are inferior to us, at least on paper. I know that the offense is just not clicking on all cylinders right now, but we still managed to score 30 runs this week in the 6 games, which is an average of 5 runs per game. Frankly, we need better from our pitchers. We allowed 12 runs in 2 separate games, each of the openers, and that just crushed us. Remember, the best way to help grow the podcast is to listen to every episode, like the episode, share the episode with your friends, and if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. Recaps this week, the Royals series. The Royals series was frankly a complete and utter disaster. Game 2 for Matthew Boyd was absolutely masterful, but the rest of the series was not. The Royals scored 20 runs in a 3-game series. One of the games, they were blanked. They didn't score any runs, guys. This all happened against the second worst offense of the season. And they came in and scored 20 runs in 2 games. 3 games total at Wrigley Field. Colin Ray struggled with the wind conditions, and I know that I had high hopes for Ben Brown, and I'm still a fan of this young man's stuff. But he has got to get a third pitch if he cannot locate a fastball better than what he does sometimes. The 5th inning, the Royals had 4 hits against him that were all weak to mid-contact, but they were just perfectly placed. That seems to happen to Brown a lot, though. He has the stuff, but he's got to execute better. In Colin Ray's case, he just doesn't have the stuff to get away with allowing hard hits. He doesn't have as much movement and spin, and pitching on a day when the wind is blowing out like it was on Wednesday is always dangerous for a guy like him. That's why I've always said that he should be the first one to go back to the bullpen, even over Cade Horton. I know that he's young and he's going to make mistakes, but he has great stuff that moves well, and it can help fix those mistakes sometimes. And we saw some of that yesterday, on Saturday, in the White Sox series. The White Sox series started out disastrous in that first game. That was brutal. It ended up being 12-5, but the White Sox had that game in hand easily through most of it. Then Cade Horton he shut the White Sox down and allowed the Cubs to chip away, get some runs, and they ended up winning the game. And they pulled away later in the game. And then today, Ben Brown allowed that home run in the first, and it scared the heck out of me. But he didn't do too shabby after that. Had some moments where he was pretty good, but he didn't. He pitched well when he really needed to. He got some good defense when he really needed to, and the Cubs survived the game. Honestly, you can't really ask for too much more than that in that situation. Is Ben Brown the long-term answer now at starting pitcher? Absolutely not. At least not for this year. But he helped us grind and get a much-needed win against an opponent that it really shouldn't have been that big of an issue. We allowed a 3-run homer to Benintendi later in the game. Ryan Brashear has been very, very good. Those things happen, guys. It was bad timing for that to happen. But Daniel Palencia came in, shut the door, and that dude is a bona fide closer. And really impressive. Previews for this next week. We got the Milwaukee Brewers coming to town. Just kidding. We're going to Milwaukee. We're going up north. We start a 3-game series with the team up north, the arch rivals, Milwaukee Brewers. Make no mistake, they are now our arch rivals. The Cardinals are still a rival, but the main rival, and it has been for the last several seasons, is the Milwaukee Brewers. Getting Craig Counsell to jump ship to the north side has only intensified this. Failure to understand and accept this is part of the problem. We cannot take what they do half-hearted, ever. Everything the Brewers do seems to turn to gold. Remember, when Justin Steele got hurt and everyone said it was too early to get a trade, just 2 days before that, the Brewers had traded for Quinn Priester. Yes, that Quinn Priester. He's like 9-3 or something like that. They got him from the Red Sox on April 7th. There were players out there available, even if it was just a depth piece. Don't get me wrong, I think Judd has tried to get more depth pieces. They just haven't worked out. Guys like Kenta Maeda, now it's Spencer Turnbull, and others. And they just aren't pitching well at AAA. We've had a lot of injuries to our depth, starting pitching, and guys like Jordan Wicks, who are pitching well in AAA, and they get rocked when they come up to the majors. Since May 26th, the Chicago Cubs have gone 30-22. Not great, but it certainly isn't bad, folks. That's a pretty good, solid record. That's still 8 games over 500. However, in that same time span, the Brewers have gone 36-15 and gained 6.5 games on us. That's a torrid pace. Both teams are now 62-43 with a 1-run lead over the Mets and a 1.5 game lead over the Dodgers for the best record in the NL. The bad news is that we play in the same division as these pesky Brewers. The Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, and heck, even the Padres and Reds are not going anywhere and going away right now. The Reds are playing the best baseball they played all season. They have a great manager. Don't write them off. I say all of this in this Brewers preview to explain just how important this series is. If the Cubs were to stumble big here, mathematically they should be just fine still. But stumbling big here could be psychological to this team. I don't think we have to win every game this series. Hell, I don't think we even have to win the series. But we do need at least one of these games to be a win, and we have to stay competitive in at least one other game. The Brewers are 34-19 home this season. They have an outstanding team ERA of 3.15 at home. That's a team ERA, folks. And they average 4.10 runs per game at home. This is a better offensive team on the road, but their pitching, already pretty darn good, is even better at home as well. We're going to start saying and hearing this a lot right now, but this is the biggest series of the season to date. The offense has been led by Christian Yelich and Jackson Chourio, but there is not one batter who really stands out on this team. They are all good, solid contributions up and down the lineup. Freddie Peralta, Quinn Priester, Jacob Mizorowski, Abner Uribe, and Trevor McGill have all led the very good pitching staff, and they will against us as well. Guess who the 3 starting pitchers for them are? Expected starters are Monday, Matthew Boyd versus Jacob Mizorowski, Tuesday, Colin Ray versus Quinn Priester, and Wednesday, Shota Imanaga versus Freddie freaking Peralta. The first and third games have some stellar pitching matchups. Hopefully, at the very least, we have a split before we get to Wednesday. On the injury report via MLB.com, Javier Assad threw 3 scoreless innings on Thursday, July 24th, and struck out 6 in the Arizona Complex League. He will make a start for Iowa on Wednesday the 30th. That'll be a rehab start. Miguel Amaya caught for the Cubs on Arizona Complex League affiliate on Thursday the 24th, the same day Assad pitched. He will have a rehab assignment moved up to Iowa on Tuesday the 29th. Jamison Tyone, through a 47-pitch bullpen session on the 25th, will throw live batting practice this week while the Cubs are in Milwaukee. And Porter Hodge appeared in a rehab assignment on the 26th, Saturday, with Iowa. He had 1 run allowed with 2 strikeouts while throwing 26 pitches. Although I don't like that he threw 26 pitches. I was hoping he could do that a little quicker. I think, and allowing a run kind of sucks. But 2 Ks is big because he was not missing a ton of bats before, even in AAA when he had his rehab assignments before. So I think that that's a really good sign. Hopefully that will continue and he can get all the rest of the stuff out, and we can get the Porter Hodge that we all know and love back in time for the stretch run. Same with Assad. Having Javier Assad come back in some kind of depth role would be absolutely huge, and having Miguel Amaya back will be absolutely huge. We'll figure out the rest of the logistics with the team at a later time, but those are big things to come back for the Cubbies. Trade possibilities and rumors. There are many reports out there and many reporters reporting that Mackenzie Gore is a real possibility for the Chicago Cubs. I saw a report that said if he was going to be traded, the favor is the Cubs. This is what a possible trade could look like for him, though. Our number 1 prospect, Owen Casey. Our number 2 prospect, Moises Ballesteros. Our number 5 prospect, Jackson Wiggins. Our number 16 prospect, Jack Neely, and Jordan Wicks. That is a steep price to pay, but he is a really good pitcher. He is ARB eligible in 26. He is not a free agent until 28. We would have him on the team for the next couple of years in addition to this year. I get it's a steep price, but this kid has pitched really well. He has an ERA of 3.52. He is 4-10, but that's because the team that he pitches for is awful. He has a K rate of 29.3%, a walk rate a bit high at 9%. His opponent's average is 239. I think all of those things could be improved dramatically just by pitching for the Cubs instead of the Nationals. And I say this because in team defense on lineups.com, they have defensive efficiency rating, errors and double plays. There are 3 teams that are in the top 10 in all 3 categories this year. The Cubs are one of them. The Rangers are another, and the Tampa Rays are the third. The Rangers probably have a better team defense than the Cubs, but that's, I think, the only team looking at this that does. The Cubs are 5th in defensive efficiency rating, 4th in errors, and 6th in double plays. The Washington Nationals are 29th in the DER, 13th in errors, and 19th in double plays. So are you telling me that this kid will not be favored greatly by having the Cubs defense behind him and make dramatic differences? The athlete Patrick Mooney is reporting that the Braves' Raisel Iglesias is one option the Cubs are considering. Iglesias has an ERA of 5.09 right now. About a week ago, Jed Hoyer was on Marquee talking about players who in the past have pitched well but aren't necessarily pitching as well right now for the season. So you would expect them to kind of regress back to what they have done in the past. So you would think Iglesias would regress pitching better later on, and maybe they just had some bad luck with him. Looking at his history, there's good reason to believe that that's the case, and that he would settle in better with the Cubs. He would jump into a situation where the Cubs are pitching playing very, very well. There's a whole lot more to play for. The Braves are like 14 games under 500 going into today. So that they're not a good team. It's hard to get up for that and continue to improve yourself when the rest of the team is not. I get that there needs to be some personal pride, but these players are human, folks. I think if he were to come to the Cubs, he could settle into that 8th inning role or 7th inning role or whatever, because if you want Brad Keller to be the 8th, and or he could be the closer. I don't know that I like taking the closer role away from Palencia for a guy who he's just not dominant as like a Johan Duran guy kind of guy. And I think Palencia has earned the role. He is pitching extremely well. So I like the idea of bringing Iglesias in and being a late inning option and regressing back to the means that he has been before. And I know I said that kind of wrong by saying regressing, but he's not pitched well this year, and that's abnormal for him. He also, it looks like, if you look at the peripherals, has pitched into some bad luck quite a bit as well, because he has pretty good peripherals. Willie Castro has been linked to the Cubs in addition to the Mariners and Yankees. I really want this guy on our team. If you've listened to my last couple of podcasts, I have stressed this a lot. I think that he improves our bench and being like a super utility guy extremely well. I don't know that we need a major overhaul at third base at this point, folks. I think that Matt Shaw has got it figured out. I talked about this on the last couple of episodes. Same thing happened with PCA. Same thing happened with Miguel Amaya in the second half. They got it figured out, and they took off. I think that's what's happening with Matt Shaw. I truly believe that. Patrick Mooney of The Athletic has also reported that the Cubs are interested in Adrian Hauser. I am not opposed to that as a second guy. I don't want him to be the only starter we bring in, though, folks. I get he just pitched great against us. He's pitched really well overall. But if he is he's not a frontline starter, folks. It's like trying to say Colin Ray is a frontline starter, or was early in the season. Even though he was pitching really well, doesn't mean he's a frontline starter. Put Adrian Hauser in the wind blowing out, and I don't know what's going to happen. He's not going to miss a ton of bats. Eugenio Suarez with the Mariners is linked to the Mariners, Reds, Yankees, Cubs, and Brewers. I just don't want him on the Brewers. I think that our assets are better used elsewhere, the major assets, to get somebody else. Suarez, there's too many teams trying to get this guy. It's going to take a nice package to get him, folks. And unless it's a super package to get guys like Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen and a relief pitcher along with Suarez, I don't like that. I don't think that that's the right way to do it. And I don't really want Zach Gallen. And frankly, I don't want Suarez. He's also going to regress. He's playing out of his mind. At some point, it's going to slow down, you would think, folks. David Bednar and Mitch Keller, there's still interest there from the Pirates. Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen. And then the last one, where there is rumors still, is Johan Duran, Griffin Jax, and Joe Ryan, along with Willie Castro. Those are all probably long shots, those three especially. I don't think it's a long shot for Castro to get traded, but I think the other three, they're going to have a package, just complete, like that package that I talked about for Gore. It's going to be more than that. I detailed a package on my Friday episode that came out on Friday morning of what I would love to see happen for those guys. I don't know that that's going to happen, though, folks. I mean, it was like 7 or 8 players. So I'm excited about this. I'm so excited. The next podcast will be on Thursday, folks. It'll be after the trade deadline, and we are going to have so much to talk about. I'm so excited for what the team has done. We're 19 games over 500, and we can do so much more. This is just the beginning. Believe in your Cubs, folks. Don't forget to join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison, Born Into the Ivy, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Clark and Addison, Born Into the Ivy. Leave some posts or comments in there about what you'd like to hear or what you thought about today's episode. However you subscribe to your podcast, please like and subscribe to Clark and Addison, Born Into the Ivy, so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Also, if you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a 5-star review and leave me some comments. If you are enjoying this podcast, make sure to tell and share it with any of your friends who might be a Cubs or baseball fan. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs. Paisley, send them home.
Go Cubs, go!
Living on the water, counting bases
last summer.